There's a term that we hear, we'll see on the interweb, and it's just like, well, that's a flex. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, you started this business, you're finding whatever it is, your physique. That's a silent flex. And I do believe it. I think, once you go out into the world, out into the wild, how people perceive you, whether bad or good, can be considered a flex. How I am now is most things are internal. I have to internalize it to see how I will accept it. And then that would help me project it, if that makes any sense. And for me, my number one flex, setting aside physique, and this is my sanctuary. I built this for me and things that I've accomplished and done for myself in general. My biggest flex is that I was unable to unstick myself mentally. And then that mental, me just being stuck mentally actually impacted me physically, right? Now, by being stuck, I just mean that, man, I think most of us, unless you're a sociopath, you have dreams, you have aspirations, you have goals, you have things you want to do. It becomes more apparent when you see people doing those things, right? When you got people in your vicinity that that's making stuff happen, and that excites you. Man, this person was able to do this, and we came from the same situation, and if they're able to do it, I can too. And you have that positive mindset to, okay, it's possible. But if you're stuck, it goes away so quick. Because that same internal dialogue that you've had for years will start funneling in those excuses or reasons as to why it ain't possible for you. You see somebody working out, and they say, hey, man, I work out in the morning, I do this time. Man, I'm not a morning person, right? You see somebody, if you was like me, I was a true alcoholic. Man, I stopped drinking. This is why I was able to see my fitness goals. Man, I can't give up my alcohol. I'm stuck. And it was like that with pretty much everything that I had going on. It was. And I had a fixed mindset for a lot of stuff. Disclaimer again, college ain't gotta be for you. It was for me because it was free. I went through the military. But before I started going to college in 2010 as a first class E6 in the Navy, I had a fixed mindset from 2000 or from 1998 when I flunked out of Long Beach City College. I had a fixed mindset that I just wasn't good enough. Like I said, that ain't gotta be for you, but I was stuck for all those years. And me being stuck there made it easy for me to be stuck in other areas. Now, I'm not about to get on here and tell you that when you get unstuck, life will be perfect, right? Birds are chirping, the sun is shining all the time. You got your theme music playing in the background, whatever that is, and then you ain't got no issues. Negative. You will still have stuff going on, but life will be better. You will be able to sleep better. You will be able to process things better. You can avoid a lot of trouble when you get yourself unstuck, because part of me being stuck is I carried a lot of emotions and revenge for stuff. I'm drinking poison and I'm looking at people and I want them to get sick. We both gonna drop, maybe. So I was stuck, and I realized in recent years that I was unstuck. I can tell you about what happened in my current role where I'm at now. I've been here 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years. And I left a higher paying job where I was thriving at with a killer title. And I knew I could have kept promoting up because I'm very passionate about what I do. Believe it or not, even though I just be on here just rambling, I'm very passionate. I want people to perceive what I'm saying as being disciplined, as being resilient. And I'm going to tell you everything about me, all those tough times and how I was able to overcome it. To a few people, that's cool. That's something they can rock with. So I was thriving there, and then I came here. And my ambitions was, hey, man, I'm going to get these people to create a role for me like what I did there, here. And I got in, I start, setting up events out here in San Diego and start posting stuff on social media about the program, and life happened. Politics happened. I'm a federal employee. I was remote. And I wanted to take remote because I was doing so much at that job that my son was about to go to middle school. And I said, man, okay, I'll take the pay cut. There should be opportunities for promotion. And I'm remote. So I'll get a little bit about some of my family time and dynamic back. I'll be fine. Life happened, and it didn't work out like that. If I was stuck, I would have been blaming everybody. The problem is with me, if I think something might benefit me, even if it's not up front, but down the line, I'm going to do it. And if I don't, it's going to haunt me. So I do not regret leaving a better title and more pay to do what I'm doing now, and I haven't been able to promote. But soon as I got there, man, once you unstick yourself, man, some of y'all probably can relate, man. Some people still ain't got that unadhesive glue that you use in order to get yourself unstuck. So they will project. And I was working for this person, man, and she started workplace bullying, and people was like, man, it's because you think you a threat, man. You got your doctorate, you a little bit more positive. And I wasn't seeing it because I couldn't put myself in her mindset. But that's what was happening. Soon as I got here, workplace bully. Ultimately, I said, man, I'm about to leave here. I'm going to see if I can go back to San Diego State. But she ended up getting removed. Problem solved. Point is, if I was stuck like I used to be, I would have been going back and forth with her, man. All the drama, all the back and forth, all the anger, which I no longer carry. I can tell you what I did do, though. I was killing it in this gym. This gym was my savior and my sanctuary during those times. It's that for most times, hence why I get up early in the morning and I work out. I had to unstick myself. And every day I work to stay unstuck. Now, that I'll say it 1,000 times. That does not mean life will be perfect, but it's much better. I know me. I know what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. And when I do it long enough, how the people that are still stuck will have a problem with that. Unfortunately, that's life. Now, I will tell you for the 1,000th time, I say 1,000th time, these videos are new on YouTube, but I've been talking about this for years. The alcohol was one of the main things that had me stuck. It was the number one contributor to most of my problems. It was, man. And the crazy thing about stuff like alcohol is, man, I could walk into a room now with my protein with me in a pre-made healthy meal, and people will look at you like you crazy. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? The food court's right over there. But back in the day, nobody said nothing to me when I'm leaving the club, getting behind the wheel, still drunk. About to drive. Could have mowed down a family. Fascinating to me. But that's just how it is, man. That is crazy to me. But the alcohol was such a big problem to where it was so bad. I remember I was going to Afghanistan, and I got orders to go to Kandahar, Afghanistan in 2007. And freaking got in country in 2008. This is 2008 when it's still hot and heavy in Afghanistan. Do you know what I was thinking about? How am I going to drink? I wasn't even thinking about if I was going to come home or not. I'm convoying every day. I was thinking about how am I going to drink? That's how bad it was. That stuff had me so stuck for so many years, man. And I knew I had to stop, but I just wasn't ready at the time. Fast forward, I was married at the time to my son's mother. She came home and she was just like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I was joking, probably drunk. And I said, by who? By who? That wasn't a good joke to say at that time, but I knew I had to stop. And I knew if I removed that alcohol from my life, I would get unstuck. I just didn't know how, man. So I tried everything, man. I went to the military on the slick. Nobody knew. And I tried to see if they can give me some of that medicine that if you take the pills or whatever, it make you throw up if you drink. But you had to have had like an alcohol-related incident to do that. So they turned it down. I remember I was stationed at a command, and I would take leave from that command. So I would take a couple of days off, and I didn't tell my wife at the time, but I would leave the house in uniform, and I would drive up north to like Laguna Niguel and these richer cities, and I would go to AA meetings. So maybe these would help. And they kind of did, but then I realized that then the rich people got the same type of stuff that I do. Like I'm putting vodka in water bottles and I'm hiding it up under the sink, and it's crazy, man. I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm like, dude. So I'm not drinking during this time, and then I realized how dependent on alcohol that I was. I did that to myself. I'm stuttering. I got the chills. I threw up a couple of times for no apparent reason. I'm nauseated. I'm real irritable because I put all this poison in my body, and I'm not trying to stop nobody from drinking. I promise you I'm not. But I did this. And not only did I do that to myself with that sauce, that alcohol, it led me to do that with the food. It is the reason that I gained 100 pounds. Telling myself, man, I'm about to bring a kid into the world and I don't want to give him the green light that's okay. He might go out, my son is 14, he might go out to the world and take to that same life. But you're not going to say you got that from me. So that's all I was thinking, right? Because I remember incidents in life when I was around like drunk adults, high adults, man. If you lived in the West Coast, like Long Beach, Compton, you would always have like somebody in front of the store, like drunk, messing around out there, man, asking for change. You remember it. You remember like it was yesterday, and it happened years before. I do not want my son to see this, and I do not want to put him in a situation to where I had somebody I knew, man. This dude has so many like DUIs, but his last DUI he had got taking his daughter to daycare in the morning. I didn't want that, so I said, man, I gotta stop. So I got the chills. I'm wilding out. Because I had put so much poison in my body over the years that the poison was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. So ultimately, I'm like a month or so without drinking. Now, when I say drinking, I mean, you know those Smirnoff half-gallon bottles in a fifth? I had the bright idea. I said, I'm not going to drink every day, so I'm just going to drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. The liquor got to be out the house by Sunday afternoon because I know I'm going to drink Monday, Tuesday, if I got a rough day at work. At that point, anything that happened, somebody could have cut me off in traffic. I would go home and drink. I'm going to blame the people that cut me off in traffic rather than my own bad decisions, right? And, you know, she told me she was pregnant, and I looked over at that liquor that I had, and I said, man, I got to stop. So I went through that gauntlet. It was about a month. And I was like, I'm done, man. At that point, a month was the longest that I went without drinking. I felt great, kinda. I had got over like the physical issues, like I was putting myself through detox, and I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day, and that was the best sleep I ever had in my life. I kid you not. I was getting unstuck. I felt that. And because I mentioned on a previous video that I have an addictive personality, I said, okay, I got to put something in that void that I was using for the alcohol. So let me go to school. It's free. Yeah, I talk about that because that's my career field, but let me go to school. It's free. Let me really lean into this fitness stuff. Let me really start just focusing in on eating right and doing my cardio and okay, man, I'm getting more addicted. What can I do more? Okay, let me go back. I got my first 3 associates. Let me get the bachelor's. Let me go get the other bachelor's. Okay, it's coming up, man. Let me get the master's. I ended up getting 3. I just kept going until I was unstuck from that version of myself. You can get unstuck. So if eating bad, if drinking, if spending money you don't have is keeping you stuck, I'm here to tell you, even though life ain't gonna be perfect, I promise you. Now, I don't know people. That's a huge thing to do, is make a promise, sitting here with my shirt off, looking like my pants about to fall down, which they not. But I promise you, if you can unstick yourself from those things that you know that's keeping you stuck, you will be fine. Now, the downside, unfortunately, people will show you how they truly feel about you when you decide to unstick yourself from the very things that have been the most harmful to you. Like a lot of people will say, man, I wish I had your discipline. You do. Personal opinion. I think you are very disciplined if you knowingly keep doing things that are harmful to you, and you got the wherewithal to know that they're hurting you, that they're making things worse. That is discipline and addiction, right? But when you start doing these things, when I started really locking in on my fitness years ago, I started seeing how people were feeling about that. Now, it starts off inspirational. It does, man. People want to rock with you. People want to work out with you. They sitting there mimicking everything that you're doing. I'm on the ship eating just tuna. I'm looking around. People got tuna looking at me eating it, and they're asking questions. But when they remain stuck and you're unstuck, you become an issue. You know that icon on the phone that you flip it around and it'll turn to you? They don't want to hit that icon. So instead of just avoiding hitting that icon, they start projecting. Just like the lady that workplace bullied me, right? They project. So when you get unstuck, everything that you have going on in your life that was holding you up, I'll say it again. That does not mean life is going to be perfect. But when they say you showing off, you know what that really means? You're showing up. You're getting up. You're doing what you said you're going to do, no matter what happens, no matter if you're in the mood to do it. And when you do that one thing, it gives you the tools that you need to do this next thing. And the more that you do, the more unstuck that you can get. And the more that you have a belief system of just going out and getting after it. Whether that's getting in shape, whether that's getting your money up, whatever that is my flex. I know how to get unstuck. And when something doesn't work out, because I have an unstuck mindset, it's going to push me to do something else or give it another go. And I know, like, it's easy when you somebody that's telling you they're unstuck while you stuck. I think I'm in decent shape, and I got my gym. If you knew everything that it took for me to get to this point in life, and I still got stuff that I'm trying to do, but if you really knew, I'll tell you about the alcohol. I'll tell you about just messing my credit up. I'll tell you about just making bad decisions over and over and over. Before I even made the decision, I knew it was bad, but it'll be all right. And I would always hang around people that were worse than me. So I can tell myself then, you got to be careful with these people that's like I was. I could tell myself, man, hey, I ain't as bad as them, right? Until I was. Then I just got away from people because I didn't like being judged. Back to when I was drinking, I remember we used to have, if you're in the military, we just call them safety stand-downs. Christmas time, they'll have like a firefighter come in and tell you, be careful with your Christmas ornaments because stuff can catch on fire. Thanksgiving, watch how you deep fry a turkey. They give you like safety type lessons. They used to have people come in that were like alcoholics, and they had got sober, and how alcohol just ruined their life. And they would be sitting there telling their story. It's funny because I remember it like it was yesterday. They would be telling their story, and I would be sitting there next to people in the auditorium, like, man, that's crazy, right? Like this person going through that, and people like, yeah, that's crazy. And in the back of my head, I'm like, man, that's me. But I'm so embarrassed, right? And I'm hiding the fact that I'm an alcoholic to a certain extent, because I think once you drink enough, you can smell it. So keep that in mind. If y'all out here just drinking, thinking you drinking vodka because you can't smell vodka, you can, right? That I didn't want to admit to it because I was stuck, man. I don't care what happens in life now, to be honest with you. And I might stay in this position, not able to progress. I don't plan on getting nothing else in here. Everything is paid for. Everything in here is mine. But I have the ability to unstick myself no matter what's going on because I ain't got no choice. What else I'm going to do? You got to find a way to unstick yourself because it's you that's keeping you held up. It is. It's going to be people. Like I mentioned, the lady at the job. It's going to be situations. There's still stuff going on because the color of your skin, that's been out there. But what's going to keep you going? What's going to make you get up? When you say you're going to eat right, what's stopping you? Something so simple, okay, I'm going to eat right, and then 2 seconds later, you just, something so simple as that is keeping us stuck. Something so simple as, man, you stopped drinking a week ago, and you still hanging out with these people that's enabling you. And you know what? It sucks that they have to enable you, but you know who the biggest enabler in my life was? Me. I was the biggest enabler. I was the biggest hype man. I used to manipulate the heck out of myself because I was stuck. And when you're stuck, speaking from personal experience, it changes your vision. I mean, like literally, it changes what you see on somebody else. The projection and the jealousy and the envy is so bad because you stuck. And you're not able to change, and life ain't fair, and you see people making these changes, and you mad at them. And then the same things people do to me, I used to do to people. That's why when I hear it, when I see it, and if you don't know me and you accuse me of something, or you say, man, you must be nice, and you lucky, and you got some weird comment that you make on YouTube, not knowing anything about me, never seeing the years of just hurdles that I had to overcome, it's because they're stuck. And people think now, if they troll, I told them about themselves, they're going to change their life. No. I've been through too much, man. Now, it's one thing to share the story on social media. Even when I'm off of here, I still got to get it because that's what being unstuck is for me. So yeah, you can get unstuck. You can. And when you get unstuck, the one thing I noticed that it allows me to deal with stuff better. When I was working at San Diego State, when I was about to start my dissertation, when you do your dissertation, you got to get site approval in order to do your interviews and your surveys and stuff like that. So I was working there, and I had went to the Veteran Center because that's what my dissertation was about, just military members not really knowing about the benefits that are available to them. And I went to the Veteran Center, and I had asked the person that was in charge, could I get her site approval, meaning she had to sign a letter. Ultimately, I didn't need to go through her. I went back to my chair after something happened, and they said, no, you can just actually use where you work. You can ask your supervisor because I was the ROTC operations recruiter. So I can actually just interview my students like I was going to do anyway. I went through this lady. She ran me for 7 months, man. I'm taking her to lunch on campus and everything, and ultimately she told me she could not sign my letter. And I'm thinking, why didn't you tell me that when I first asked you? Because before she had said yes. If I was stuck, I would have been filled with revenge. And then when I finished my doctorate, I would have emailed her. And if she called me Mr. Bradley, I would have been like, nah, it's doctor. I didn't. I don't make anybody call me doctor if you know me. What was unfortunate though, like different stories, when I got my doctorate, I had some people that I thought were close friends. Like, don't think I'm gonna call you doctor. I don't need you to. I think if somebody respects you, they'll call you that. If not, it don't matter. Because I got the diploma and I got the transcript. Yeah, I got the dissertation in a binded book. But if I was stuck, I would have been so reactionary on this lady because me and her will both be stuck out here just getting nowhere. You got to unstick yourself, and you got to work towards that every day in order to fix a lot of that stuff, man. If you had the stuff that I have going on, I just had a lot of problems. That's a video for today. I had a lot of stuff going on.